no way he would have known our roster. Like, I don't think not 31 other teams knew the extent of how deep and talented and young this team was had you not played them the year prior and saw it for yourself.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He saw it firsthand, and he said,
Yeah.
"Damn, I want to play for them."
I love the show. I love you guys. Fucking let's go Jets. Jets, 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 Jets.
No, I'm beating you with my mind. And I can still dominate, I think.
Dane, you're a legend, bro.
But this guy is always a good guest. Always glad when he makes time to talk to me, because he is another out of market fan and eventually launching a channel of his own. But for now, we get him courtesy of the call-in line. So without further ado, Ricky, New York Live. What's up, brother?
Thank you, man. How you doing tonight?
Dude, I'm good. I'm making the most. I wasn't feeling great coming into this episode, but the turnout and the callers, they've already made me feel a lot better. So I'm feeling good. How are you?
I'm good, man. And I've seen this team progress each week and get better each week, and it's going to start clicking, and we're in for a great year. People need to stop like waiting for the other shoe to drop. People need to quit looking for, the thing that's going to go wrong or read into any little thing. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and squash that Garrett thing. Like right now, Garrett Wilson is not a diva. Garrett Wilson is a competitor.
That's
you may have seen some frustration that he didn't make the catch because he always wants to be the best at what he's doing. But dude, if you look at the touchdown he scored this week, and the one that he had in the Buffalo game last year, that insane catch that probably nobody else on the planet could have made that catch.
Oh yeah.
Dude,
that was sick.
When I think like play like a Jet, it's plays like that. It's Jermaine batting the ball to himself and then taking it and scoring a touchdown with it. Going back, it's like that long Dustin Keller catch versus the Bengals. But even with more recent Jets, it's Tyler Conklin carrying half of the Denver defense down the field with him last year, which he's probably going to do again this week. And Conklin, dude, I said it before. Rodgers stays healthy all year, 873 yards, 12 touchdowns. Conklin is going to have a monster year this year.
I love that.
Dude, that's my guy.
It's not outside the realm.
Waited for him to have a quarterback like this so he could really show people what he could do. He is so underappreciated. But even last year, with the worst quarterback play in 50 years that we had, going into the Houston game last year, he led all tight ends in the NFL in receptions for a first down. Like Conklin is good, dude. He did, and just like Garrett got his 1,000 yards with shit quarterback play, Conklin was doing that with shit quarterback play. And last week, we really got to see what Tyler Conklin can be. And
facts.
Yeah, I'm looking super duper forward to watching him this year.
Dude, he was running free, and not even just free for no reason. Like he was creating space with his strides, dude. And
that too. And Conklin is a savvy vet, so every time they drifted that safety over the top to double Garrett, Conklin was just identifying those gaping holes and just taking advantage of it.
Do you think that performance out of Conklin, dude, he had 5 out of 6, 4 first downs, 93 yards. Will that
93
alter what
yards.
the second? Dude, will that alter what the secondary how they
I mean,
cover us?
eventually it's going to have to. Eventually it's going to
Yeah,
have
it
to.
is.
Like Mike said, eventually they're going to have to start trying to play a little bit more man, because you can double Garrett all day. And you know what? If Conklin and Lazard can keep contributing, you know, dude, 99 times out of 100, Mike Williams comes down with that jump ball in the end zone. You know, most times Garrett, dude, that should have been a long touchdown to Garrett, but it was overthrown just a little bit. And I could see, you know what? We don't know. I mean, maybe Garrett let up just a little bit at the end of his route as he was reaching the end zone. And maybe that's why we saw the frustration. Maybe he's thinking to himself, oh, if I had just kept going full speed, I could have had that. Fuck, you know, like, dude, but I tell you what, if he's not getting the catches, the yards, the touchdowns, the accolades, whatever, Garrett Wilson wants one thing more than anything else, and that's to fucking win. And he's going to care about those W's more than all that other shit that you know, we're all trying to worry about. Dude, we've got great quarterback. I've never seen quarterback play like that in a Jets game ever. Dude, that one like back shoulder fucking throw that he hit fucking Ruckert on the sideline. Like, dude, he got rid of that ball. Ruckert hadn't even like started to make his break yet, and the ball was halfway there. And like, dude, I'm telling you, Mahomes is nice, whatever. There is not another quarterback in the NFL that could have made that throw like that. That shit.
The touch is
I mean, that
unreal.
wasn't one of the bigger plays in the game or whatever, but to me, that was like one of the standout plays from that game, because, dude, the anticipation that Rodgers can throw that ball with is just fucking nuts. And now it makes even more sense what we heard about Rodgers saying, like, he wants guys to be in the right spot, period. If you're in the right spot, I will get you the ball. And I see exactly what he means by that. And I know a lot of people are clamoring for Corley, but right now, apparently Corley's just not in the right spot. And that's a timing thing. That's a repetition thing. It'll come. He was great in college, but you know what? That was a lot of jet sweeps and shit like that, where they got him in motion and got him in the open field. And I could see the Jets maybe putting in a package like that to get him a little bit involved. But as far as seeing him on the field as every, you know, one of the starters, whatever, I think that's a little bit of ways. That being said, I've been real happy with what I've seen from Gibson this year. I think the Jets staff is right about him. I think he's turned a corner and he looks really good. He looks like he's going to, you know, be at least a solid contributor. And, dude,
and that's funny. The thing. We have tools in our arsenal that we have only barely put on film so far. So like, why even bother with Corley until we get, you know, the opposition seeing all they want to see on Mike Williams, and you know,
I'd like to see the first time we really see Corley like that is the next time we play New England and they make all their adjustments for what we did to them last time, and then we come at them a totally different fucking way the next time. That's what I would do. If I was the Jets, that's what I would do. At any rate,
I love that.
Mike was talking about Vinny earlier, and I love Vinny. One of my favorite Jets also. And I had a connection with Vinny because I live here in Tampa, you know, and my dad is a Bucs fan. And when I was a kid, I played Little League Baseball with this guy named Jim Melody. And his father, who's also Jim Melody, in like the early 80s, opened the very first Beef O'Brady's, like right up the road from my house, which is like, if you don't know, that's like a chain. It's like Buffalo Wild Wings, something like that. But dude, in the early 80s, it was like literally one of the very first like sports themed, like sports bars that there was anywhere. Like that was like back then, that was like a brand new idea that nobody had thought of yet. And it was cool because it was right here in my hometown. And now they've got Beef O'Brady's in New York, Chicago, like all over the fucking place. But at any rate, Jim Melody Sr. plays golf with Vinny, and he knows Vinny real well. And Vinny had come into the Beef O'Brady's and Brandon. Back in the day when I had my tattoo shop, it was literally right on the other side of the wall from Beef O'Brady's, and their door was right next to mine. And all the time, people would like open our door thinking they were going into Beef's, and they'd like take a couple of steps into the lobby and realize they were in the tattoo shop. They'd go out and go back in the other door. But dude, that was a great location for me because, dude, Beef O'Brady's brought so much foot traffic by my shop, and that shop was so successful because of where that was good times. And because I was right next door, I was a neighboring business. I didn't have to pay for my sodas at Beef's. So I just like most of the time I'd go over there and they'd be like, get it yourself. And I'd go back behind the bar and make myself a soda and go back to work. But so that was
Dude, nice. It probably smelled good in there all day too, didn't it?
Yeah, it smelled like hamburger and fries a lot of the time in the shop. Definitely.
Hell yeah. Hey, let me ask you this. We talked all offense. What do you think of the defense?
I think the defense has been good. I know that we haven't seen a lot of the real. I mean, we've definitely seen the sacks and in bunches. We haven't seen like the big pick or the pick six or and you know what? Actually, I was gonna say we haven't really seen the forced fumbles or something, but I'll tell you what, that Chuck Clark play was a hell of a play where he just fucking ripped it right out of Ramondre's arms, and that was nice. That was nice. So I think those will come. Dude, in that one game, Tony Adams almost had a nasty one-handed interception. I mean, it turned into a PBU, but I honestly think that he'll come on, and that's something that, you know, talking to people that were at training camp and talking to people that were around the team, I heard over and over and over again that Tony Adams was like probably one of the most vocal guys on the defense that, you know, anytime they were at practice, they could hear him out there barking and chirping and getting the guys fired up and stuff. So I think
I love that kid.
Yes, I think that he's really gotten his confidence. And, you know, which game was it where he had that big hit? Was that the Steelers game where he had that pick at the end of the game to help us put it away last year?
I think it might have been the Steeler game. Yeah. But dude, ever since last summer when the whole fan base was crying and moaning about having this no-name Tony Adams be a starting safety on this defense, dude, they were writing him off before it even and dude, the coaching staff knew and they kept reassuring us.
Dude, our defense has been top 5, you know, not Salah's first year, but since then, we've been top 5. Like, if there's anything that I don't worry about with this team, it's their decision on defensive players. Not at all. Not at all.
Facts.
And, you know, I don't even want to really talk about the Reddick subject because that guy's just a fucking idiot on a whole new fucking level of being an idiot.
What's the point in speculating? We don't even know if the rumors we hear are even true.
Yeah, I mean,
we don't know any of it.
It's all speculation.
Facts, but like it's pointless.
Dude,
None of it's facts, I should say.
He's willing to fall on his sword and go down like this just to prove his point. And his point is what? I'm going to prove to everyone that I can lose all my money that I had coming for this year. I mean, that's all he's going to accomplish. Like, dude, we own your rights, like it or fucking not.
Who signs him?
What you've
who
done
signs
over
him
the
next
last 4 years. I admit it. He's done it. He's had the accomplishments. He's got the accolades. He's done the hard work to earn all of that. However, just because he did it before doesn't mean he'll done it again. And he hasn't done shit for us. Period.
Facts.
So, you know, he's got to understand no matter what he's done, he hasn't done any of it for us. Why does it fall on us to pay him for what he did with other teams who didn't pay him? Like, no, it doesn't work like that. And that's honestly what he's asking us to do. Pay me based on what I did for other teams that didn't pay me. Why? Why has it got to be us? You haven't done fucking shit for us, dude. Show up, fucking show what you got. We'll make sure you're hooked up for this year. Fucking no one was trying to fucking screw you. But we're only going to take care of you for this year. You want a long-term, fucking earn it. If it doesn't come from us, if you really do ball out, then, be a man, be a football player.
Yeah.
Football players always bet on themselves because football players always, the good ones like that, always believe that they're going to do what they always do. And they always bet on themselves. This guy isn't acting like a football player. He's acting like a bitch. That's no other way to say it, man. Quit being a bitch. Be a football player. Bet on yourself. And worst case scenario, if we don't pay you, somebody will, man. I mean, look, Clowney didn't
Honor
get
your
signed
contract
right
too.
away. Gakwe didn't get signed right away. He's on a team. You will get paid by somebody. Maybe it's not the 20 to 25 a year that you are asking for. But you know what? Face the facts, dude. You're 31 years old and you're asking for a long-term deal when everybody knows that players usually decline at your age. So based on that alone, if somebody comes at your door knocking with 18 a fucking year, I think you'd be a pretty big fucking fool not to take it.
At this point, I want to say screw him so bad that I hope someone gives him a backloaded deal and then keeps him for 2 years for the cheap years and then says, screw you, we're not paying the back half of this.
Yeah, you know what? And that's probably what'll happen. They'll backload the contract and give themselves an out, and they might have to eat some dead money, but no team's going to give him a deal where they don't have an out. At any rate, also, I want to go back to the tight ends thing. Dude, I think tight end is going to be important for us this year. Aaron has always favored his tight ends. Ruckert, I like seeing him get a little bit more involved, but Conklin in particular, I think is just going to explode this year. And I'll tell you something, just like we're talking about with Garrett, sometimes when teams only have like one real weapon, you see that weapon get doubled, tripled, whatever the case may be. As teams learn that we've got more than one weapon, they're going to have to spread out and they're not going to be able to keep concentrating on him the way that they have been early in the season. But dude, for probably a solid decade in fantasy football, I was in the playoffs every year, won multiple championships. And one of the things I did every year, I'd watch guys grab Conklin or, Tony Gonzalez, Antonio Gates, whoever, early. And dude, I would sit back and then in like the 14th or 16th round or something, I would take Delaney Walker every year. And you know what? Dude, the Titans had nobody. They had fucking nobody. No other weapons. I mean, they had Derrick Henry maybe, but receiving wise, they had no other weapons. Everybody and their fucking grandmother that watched any kind of football knew that he was going to be getting the ball. And you know what? Still, nobody could fucking stop him.
Yep. Delaney put up some good touchdown numbers too. And in the 14th round.
And it was bizarre to me that nobody ever caught on to what I was doing because I did the same shit every year. And every year he would just be sitting there for me to take. And it was so nice. And then early in his career, Hunter Henry, I would have the combo of those two when Henry was still a Charger. And it was like, yeah, go ahead, waste one of your first picks. I'm going to get another really good running back or another really good receiver with that pick, and I'll get my tight end late. And just like, dude, even in fantasy this year, and I got like 4 Jets fans in my league this year and was really worried about it. Dude, I got Conklin in like the 19th round or something in my league. And the other league, I think I got him in like the 17th. So I've actually got 3 tight ends on both teams, same ones on every team. I got Dallas Goedert, who I got in like 15 or something like that, really late also. Conklin and Isaiah Likely from the Ravens. And I got all 3 guys on both teams.
I tell you what, dude, I really like Isaiah Likely, and the Ravens, both Likely and Andrews, they have this year on their contract and next year, but that's it. Next spring, this spring coming up, actually, they can cut Andrews and save like 8 to 10 million. It would not shock me if, let's say, we don't sign Conklin. We could have our choice of Andrews or Conklin. Who do you take at that point?
Oh, it would probably depend on the money. Because of the money thing, I would probably take Conklin because I think we can get him more affordably. Because Andrews is going to get paid big by somebody.
Andrews, I mean, he is getting older too. I think look at Kelsey. I mean, he's not doing much of anything now, but these guys get to 32 and it's
apparently he made a movie that's like on FX or something, and as far as what I can see from his acting, like, dude, don't quit your day job. It's bad looking.
That's the first I heard.
I'm not trying to rag on him. He's a football player. He's not an actor, but it shows too. So
enough of these commercials, though. You'd figure he'd pick up some acting chops, you know.
Well, you know what? When you're banging like the most popular female on the entire planet, I still don't understand why, but that's just the facts. She is.
Yeah.
Apparently, it opens up a lot of new doors for you.
Yeah.
So, hey, good for him, man. Good for him.
Hey, there was a question here. I don't really have a solid take on it, so I want to ask you. Roger, he says, do you have a favorite player that played for the Jets and the Giants, not named Jumbo Elliott?
Jeez.
Gino.
I can't even.
That's all.
Yes. I do, I guess. And that would be probably the last time we had a really good right tackle was Kareem McKenzie. And when he left here, he went to the Giants.
Yes. I know Kareem. Yeah.
If I had to pick one, because I'm trying to think, I'm thinking, who the fuck played for both? Like Jason Pinnock? Like I couldn't really think of anybody else. But then it popped in my head and I was like, yeah, you know what? That's probably a name that not a lot of people would think of right off the top of their head. But Kareem McKenzie, really, if you think about it, that was the last time we had a really, really good right tackle. And
am I crazy, or did he start out in Minnesota?
I can't remember where he came from. He definitely didn't start out with us.
Yeah. I want to say he was with the Vikings, but I could be wrong.
That could be.
Maybe the chat can help us. Kareem McKenzie.
We got him from somewhere.
No, I was wrong.
And then later we got Faneca from the Steelers. And
Faneca was a beast.
We got Mawai from the Seahawks.
Mawai, yeah. And he went on to Tennessee, didn't he?
Glad. Dude, he was blocking for Ricky Waters, getting 1,000 yards. Then came here and helped Curtis get 1,000 for 10 years in a row. And then leaves and helps Chris Johnson hit 2,000 yards, late in his career. Best center to ever play. Woody Johnson, wake the fuck up. Retire the number 68. It needs to be retired. I can't stand to see another Greg Von Rotten or some fucking guy that sucks wearing the number 68, running out there and tarnishing that legacy. That is a number. And he's in the Hall of Fame already. Like, that number needs to be retired. Best center ever.
that's the center I started with, and I'm part like Mangold, awesome, but I'm sorry, I gravitate to Mawai as my center. However,
Dude,
that
remember the old
segues.
highlights of Mawai that they used to show? And he fucking, when he like took Zach Thomas from the Dolphins and slung him like a rag doll, and he gets up and he's all laughing. He's like, dude, did I do that to you? I just did that to you. And he's just talking shit, dude. Like, that's the kind of swag we need for an offensive lineman, dude.
Let me ask you. Okay, so that parlays beautifully. What do you think of Titman, dude? Because I think he's. Oh my
I like
god,
him.
dude.
I like
Yes.
him, dude. I knew the shit, with the snapping issues from training camp. I knew that was overblown. They were installing something new, something different. I mean, how many times have we got to talk about Aaron Rodgers and it being a timing based offense in order for people to fucking understand? I wasn't worried about it. You know, when you heard Rodgers talk about it, he was like, "Yeah, Tip's great. He's going to be fine." Yeah. I mean, oh my goodness. Like, I mean, I understand as Jets fans, the last thing you want to hear is we have to wait. You don't want to hear be patient because we've all waited so fucking long already to begin with. But looking at this season in a microcosm by itself, putting all that other stuff aside, man, it's just a fact. It's going to get better with repetition. It's gotten better each week. It's going to continue to progress. Be patient. It's going to get better and better each week. So why ruin a win worrying about, is Garrett going to be a diva? Is this going to happen? Is that going to happen? Enjoy it, man. Like, enjoy it. Stop worrying about what can go wrong. Like,
Yeah.
you know what?
And
if something's going to go wrong, it will. Cross that bridge when we get to it. Don't ruin every day from now to then worrying about it, man. Life's too short. Enjoy this shit. We got a winning record.
you know how many
It's only
people
been 3
right
games,
now?
but we got a winning record. So
You know how many people right now are like worried about AVT going into this game? What do you make of
well,
that?
yeah,
Do you
because it's
think
Denver, but we're not at Denver. So
true?
that I think that should make a difference. Like,
It should.
yes, it was against that team, but it was in Denver each time. And the fact that we're at home this time, it's technically not the same field he got injured on. So I'm not, and it was the field that I think caused the injury. So I'm not really worried about it. I'm not
Here's
really
one
worried
for you.
about it. Yeah, people bitch about our field, but Denver's field fucked up our players a couple of years in a row. So I'd say their
And
field
dude,
sucks too.
dude, Braylon Allen, I would love to say that Brees just kills Denver himself for
Oh,
the
he's
third
going
year
to.
in a
Well, I
row.
think they both are. I think they're both going to
Yes,
have good games.
same, same.
Brees will break 100, but dude, I could see Braylon getting close to 80 himself. But I mean, Brees long touchdown against the Broncos. I mean, that's like every year thing. You can book it. That
Here's
the year,
a here,
dude, the year that he got
okay.
hurt, it was like one handoff, 65 yards touchdown, like done. And I'm
Facts.
like, holy shit, what a way to start a game. Oh God, if we had only had a quarterback. God, but you know what? Even with Zach Wilson, the team that Robert Saleh coaches, that Joe Douglas built, once upon a time went into fucking Green Bay and handed Aaron Rodgers and the Packers a loss. And Aaron Rodgers, one of the best quarterbacks to ever play, looked at this New York Jets team and went, you know what? That's a good fucking team at every single position. It's a shame if they only had a quarterback, they'd be unstoppable. That's where I want to play. If those guys had me, there would be nothing that could stop us. If I had only had a defense like that in Green Bay, nothing could have stopped me. That's where I want to be. And a few months later, he came out and said, my intention is to play for the New York Jets. So
Dude,
people
and
shit about
I didn't
Saleh
think
and Joe Douglas. Joe Douglas built a team so good, one of the best quarterbacks ever, looked at this team that JD built and said, that is where I want to be. And those are the facts, period.
For, agreed. And I wish Hassan Reddick had that same thought to his mind. Like, look at this defense. It's a brotherhood. I don't know if you saw the post game speech. And honestly, if you watch One Jet Drive last night, hearing CJ Mosley amp up the team before the game, and then Saleh after the game, you heard Sauce getting in there, dude. Every single kid that speaks in that locker room or
Yeah,
in that
and that was
huddle,
one of my
it's
things.
powerful.
Is Sherwood has been absolutely great. The thing that the difference for me in the Mosley versus Sherwood argument is Mosley's leadership, which, we watch him play football. We don't necessarily hear all he says and all he does, and his experience and football IQ, being able to call all the plays, being able to communicate, get everybody lined up in the right spots. Those are the things that I don't know if Sherwood can replace, if he can do. I mean, over time, possibly, but the same way that Aaron Rodgers can look at the opposing team and dissect what the defense is trying to do to him and get everybody in the right spot, Mosley does that same thing for our defense, getting everybody lined up in the right spots. And he is so good at that. Like there's very little CJ Mosley hasn't seen in this league. And he's a vocal leader. And I mean, I tell people all the time, when he came into the league as a rookie, I mean, it's kind of like when we lost Revis and then we got D Milner and everybody thought he was going to be the next Revis and he just wasn't.
Yeah.
That's the way it is a lot of the time. CJ Mosley had to step into the shoes of Ray fucking Lewis, dude.
Yes.
Those are big shoes to fill. And you know what? He was awesome as a rookie. That defense didn't miss a beat. And CJ Mosley is a good fucking player.
Don't get me wrong. I'm not overshadowing Sherwood's performance last week in any way. However,
no, he's been awesome.
If there's one game where you're not going to miss CJ Mosley's mind as much as any other week, it was last week, because how creative did your defensive captain need to be against what we saw New England giving us offensively? I mean, if there's one week where come on.
Their receivers don't scare anybody. They've got a decent tight end who's starting to decline and a good running game.
How much audible?
We knew they were going to just run the ball all day long because we've been susceptible to the run, but we had a good game plan for it, and we shut his ass down. And
there are people out there.
I was really happy with how well we played the run in that Patriots game, considering what I saw the first couple of weeks.
We forced them to abandon it. We forced them to abandon it.
All along, remember, before the year even started, I was telling people the Rams were going to be one of the toughest games on our schedule, except for the Niners. And I wonder if people are starting to believe me yet, or starting to take that team a little bit more seriously yet.
I mean, they're banged up. They don't have their receivers, but Kyron Williams is no joke. I mean, we're going to have any team that has as many home run hitters as they have, I worry about. I am glad that it's in our building and in December. Maybe we don't need it as bad, but I'm with you, man. That is one of the toughest games.
Kyron Williams is the man now in St. Louis.
Three touchdowns last week. 3.
Yeah, killed it. But also, real quick, shout out to Cam Akers with the Texans, who's coming back from multiple injuries and is starting now because Mixon is hurt and looked real good. So former Florida State guy. So I'm happy to see him back in the league and doing something. Dude, I watched some of his Twitter posts when he was like unemployed and coming off the second injury and seemed really depressed, but it was like that same positive, like, God has a plan, something will happen. And I even tweeted back to him and saying, like, dude, you're too good. You'll find a home, just hang in there. And so, glad to see him back. But we're going to see them pretty soon too. Dude, like that's what I don't get is people saying like, oh, the Texans game, that could be a loss. Why? We whooped their ass with Zach Wilson. They run a very similar system to what we run, and you know what? It's almost like when we played them, our defense went, "Oh, well, we see this shit in practice every day. I know what they're doing," and we fucked them up. I mean, we didn't just like barely squeak by. It wasn't just like a Zerline late touchdown or something for a win. No, we took their ass behind the woodshed. So, like, I'm not worried about that game in the slightest. Not at all.
No, they're built very similarly, but like if we're clicking, I mean, in my opinion, our only opponent any given Sunday is ourselves because
Yes.
like if we play 100%, nobody is beating us. Nobody.
Nope. No,
I mean,
it was
you
just,
can spread it around, yeah.
regardless of, and I hate when people win because they say, "Oh, well, the Patriots are a shitty team. They're a bad team." By NFL standards, maybe, but there's still a lot of very good players over there. The thing is for our guys, I think the confidence that's going to come along with a dominating win like that is going to be huge for those guys. Now, I don't think that it's to the extreme where they go into this game cocky like it's a trap game or something. I think our guys are too good and too level-headed for that. I think that's where Saleh being so even keel all the time pays off, keeping those guys from getting too high. But the fact that everything clicked like that, and like I said, ball to Williams, 99 times out of 100, he comes down with that. And I think we're going to see.
It was his.
Oh, yeah. And you know what? And that reminds me of like Keon Coleman, kid that's on the Bills now, which he caught his first touchdown last week of the season. Rookie kid. I watched an interview with him, and he said, "My mindset is when the ball's in the air, it's mine. I'm coming down with it. Nobody else is getting a hand on it." And that's just the way I play. And dude, he's not a great route runner. He's not going to burn anybody with his speed.
I'm not.
But dude, those jump balls
fan.
like that, I watch him do it time and time and time and time again. You just throw it up, and he just goes up and gets it. He'll just body people.
Athletic as hell.
But
athletic as hell.
And Mike Williams is like a more NFL savvy, better version of that. You just throw it up and he'll go get it, man. I mean, look at it over the last, we always talk about Hassan Reddick over the last 4 years. Well, guess what? Over the last 4 years, Mike Williams is like top 3 or 4 in contested catches in the entire NFL. That's everybody you can think of. Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, insert the name, whatever. Out of everybody, he's like top 4 in the NFL over the last 4 years. Okay.
Facts. I mean, everybody says
Rodgers will throw it up and he will go get it.
Yes. And that's the thing. Like, how often is he going to see doubles? He's not.
No.
I mean, he's not.
Garrett. See, that's the thing is when Mike Williams starts making some of those catches, when Conklin keeps getting open and just eating up the holes in the zone, every time that safety evacuates the middle of the field to try to go over the top and double Garrett, Conklin's going to sit down in those holes in the coverage and just eat people alive. It's going to get, I think it's going to get to a point where teams are going to get tired of us beating them like that, and they're going to stop covering Garrett as much, and it's going to open up. I think his time is coming. Like I said, we just have to be patient. Nobody wants to hear that, but it's the truth, man. It's gotten better each week. Enjoy it. It's been a long time. We deserve it. Stop worrying about shit. Everything's fine right now.
Hey,
I'm sure we'll have something to worry about at some point, but for now we don't. So just enjoy the ride.
Exactly. Well, I mean, even the Moses thing, dude. Olu came in and he played well. He did. That is one thing we want to look at this Sunday is how does Olu do against a defense that knows they're preparing for him. You know?
Right. I think he's going to be fine, and I'll tell you what, I think we struck gold with that pick, because once Tyron Smith decides to retire, I think Olu will be able to step in seamlessly. It's not going to be the exact same type of performance, but I think we've got our starting blindside tackle for the next decade, probably. That was a great pick.
Dude, and then you had Aaron Rodgers come out this week and literally compare him to DeBrickashaw and what he heard about Brick throughout his career. But before I go off on that tangent, I do have a question. Actually, two questions. Rick, big fella in the house. Ricky, I never watched Jordan Travis in college. Who does he play like? And before you answer, I want to add in a fun fact from Infrared where he says that he himself banged on the table to beat the Patriots, but still go after Jordan Travis on draft day. The only other person he saw with the same take was you, Ricky. So talk to me. What do you think of
Well,
Jordan
that's my
Travis?
guy.
Does he? Yes, I do. But
Okay.
do you
I
compare
wanna-
him to anybody?
I want to hear your answer first. Who does his playing style remind you of?
You know what? I have not watched him very much at all. I just
You know what? I'll shoot you a highlight tape, and big fella, I'm going to send the same one to you. I'll send you a link to his highlight.
Fair.
Honestly,
I'll take it.
Honestly, he makes a lot of plays with his legs. 7 rushing touchdowns every year, and but I mean, just even looking at last year, 20-something touchdowns, only 2 interceptions. He takes care of the ball. But I think people think like, oh, he's just a running quarterback. And honestly, in the beginning of his career, he was just a running quarterback. We would use him for RPO stuff. But even though it was like RPO shit, anytime he came in the game, you knew it was a run. Like, you knew he wasn't going to throw the ball. Like no chance. But then later, I mean, he just developed into a really nice quarterback. But the thing I like is when even on like plays that break down, when he's scrambling around everywhere and it looks at, dude, he always keeps his eyes downfield. He's always looking downfield, and he will take off and run. I mean, I've seen him make like 80-yard touchdown runs. He's got one run against the Dolphins against wait a minute. Yeah, it was against the Florida Gators that, dude, it was almost like that Zach Wilson play against the Dolphins where he escaped like 3 or 4 people and then but dude, this one, I mean, Jordan Travis probably slips about 9 tackles on his way to like a 30-something yard touchdown run. And it is friggin' insane. If you want to talk about escapability, I mean, it's just nuts. Everybody on that defense had a chance to tackle him at least once, and nobody could.
Here's a couple questions. Hold on, because Scott says, don't say Patrick Mahomes. Okay, we know that. Clancy says, more like a young Russell Wilson. Randy said, Jordan Love. What do you think about any of those before your own answer? Jay said Johnny Manziel, but I don't know if he's joking.
No. I mean, I see similarities to some of those guys, and you would never hear me say that Jordan Travis is Patrick Mahomes, because there's only one Patrick Mahomes. Okay.
That's unfair.
However, I have said in the past, and I will say again right now, Jordan Travis is like dollar store Patrick Mahomes. A little, not quite as strong as arm, not quite as savvy. He doesn't do the no-look stuff, but he can make some real weird arm-angled, side-armed, crazy throws sometimes that kind of remind me of that. And I'll tell you what, when he takes off and runs, he's more dangerous than Patrick Mahomes. Jordan Travis has got some freaking wheels on him. But
how's his arm?
That being said, Yeah.
How's his deep ball?
Adequate.
Okay.
He's not Josh Allen.
Right. But
He doesn't
he's not RG3 either, right?
he no, he doesn't have a cannon, but it's adequate. Um, the one thing that I can say about Jordan Travis is, like, even if his own personal abilities, like arm strength wise, throwing wise, don't jump off the tape at you, dude, he's just very good at getting the ball into the hands of his makers and letting those guys make plays.
And I almost thought you were going to say a dollar store Aaron for a moment. Do you think
You know
he'll at
what?
least be groomed properly under Aaron? Because like that's a
Dude,
big part of it.
I see a little bit of that, like the escapability, scrambling around, making throws on the run. You could say a little bit of Aaron, maybe a little bit like, early career Big Ben was kind of like that. But yeah, I don't know. I guess when you start talking about mobile quarterbacks, you can kind of draw that comparison with a lot of people. But you know what? He had a lot of really good weapons on that team. I mean, just look, the Cardinals drafted the running back. The Bills drafted the receiver. The Patriots drafted their Florida State's tight end. So, I mean, they had 12 guys from that team go to the NFL this past year. So that was a good friggin' team. But Jordan just always seemed to be able to get the ball to the right guy at the right time. And I think that's what I like best about him. And not a physical thing, but his leadership. Like, when you listen to the guys on that team, they're like, he worked so hard and put so much in, that much harder, because I just didn't want to let him down. And it's like, holy crap. Like, it's crazy when you hear guys talk like that. And when you hear people say, oh, I'd run tight, like Jordan Travis is that kind of a quarterback, where he's like Pennington. He's such a good guy. It's almost impossible not to root for him. Yeah, he's not on Pennington's level intelligence wise, but like maybe that would be like a good pick. Like, not comp, like, not the strongest arm, but distributes the ball well, gets it to the right guy. So yeah, imagine Pennington if he could like run like Lamar. so
yeah. And honestly,
like
that's all I want anymore. Like, I'm so tired. Like, I get it. A franchise QB changes your entire landscape, but like we've missed so many times, man. Like, can we just get a facilitator, a John Stockton? Like, we're gonna have some
yeah,
Carl Malones when Rogers leaves. We're gonna have pieces. We just need a Steve Nash, man. Like,
right. Yeah, exactly. And I don't think Jordan Travis is necessarily like that guy that's gonna, put the team on his back and do it all himself. Like that Super Bowl where Steve McNair just became Superman and brought that team back and damn near beat the Rams. He ain't gonna be like that, I don't think. But like I said, he gets the ball to his playmakers. And when you've got Brees and Garrett and good tight ends, and you've got all those kind of weapons all around him, he'll get the ball to those guys. And with a great defense, I mean, he had a great defense, and they were 13-0. That team was undefeated before he got hurt. So, I mean,
facts. He would have been drafted. Dude, he had a chance at the Heisman, didn't he?
Oh yeah, absolutely. And Jaden Daniels came on late, and then Jordan got hurt, and the rest is history. But opening day last year, those two teams played each other, and Travis flat out outplayed Jaden Daniels. That threw 3 touchdowns to Keon Coleman, another to the tight end, ran one in. I mean, there was just no two ways about it. That was just a ass kicking, and Travis outplayed him. So and Jaden Daniels is good, dude. He's looked good in Washington. I'm not taking anything away from him, but I watched the two of them play in person, and Travis was the better quarterback that day. So I think you put him on this kind of a team with these weapons around him and this defense, and yeah, Travis could play in the NFL, and you could win games with him. I don't think he's Rodgers. I don't think he'd be one of the elite guys, but you know what? Tyrod Taylor could win teams with this game. And Jordan Travis, I think, could be like a Tyrod Taylor equivalent.
I wish
so
to hell
there's a good comp.
Dude,
if he was for you.
Who?
Tyrod and Jordan Travis.
Oh yeah, dude.
Like younger
and
Tyrod.
Right. No, I get what you're saying. But damn, do I wish Jordan was ready in August, because he would have played 16 quarters, man. He would have played 16 freaking quarters. But dude, I expect him to play 16 next year, or 12, or whatever the hell it is these days. I don't know. My hope for him is to possibly replace Tyrod next season. And then the year after be competing with another guy we draft. But I know you're hoping that there's not even a competition, but like, why not? Like, draft another guy, keep drafting. Draft.
Yeah,
we have
absolutely.
We have 4 top 100 picks next year. 4 as it stands.
We got him
burnt.
We got him in the 5th round at an absolute steal because of his injury. And if all he ever turns out to be is a competent backup, well, good, dude. You know what? A good backup is a good thing to have, and we only spent a 5th, so still score.
And Tyrod's making 10 mil. So
win-win. If he's good enough to be our starter, then great. But if only a competent backup, it's still win-win.
If you replace Tyrod making 10 mil a year, that is a net positive for a 5th round pick.
Yeah.
And then it buys him time, dude. It buys him time.
Yep.
And that's been my take the whole time. When we drafted him, I said, please just replace Tyrod in a year's time.
and I think that's what'll happen. And he's got Rodgers to learn from. You couldn't ask for a better person to learn from. And I'll tell you what, there's not a person that we could have brought in here that will work harder than Travis will. Dude, I mean, he's like Jermaine in that respect. That's something that coach drills into those guys, and all those guys have that same work ethic. So, yeah.
Are you following?
Just the perfect situation.
Are you subscribed to Jermaine's new YouTube channel?
No,
So him and his girlfriend launched a YouTube channel, and they're chronicling his
his recovery.
Yes.
You know what?
Check that out.
Yeah, I saw that he had a tweet about it, but I didn't realize they had launched it already.
There's
check that out.
There's maybe 2 episodes so far. I can't verify how entertaining it is, but if you're interested in like the rehab process and like where his head's
absolutely.
Check it out.
Well, dude, I'm a huge Jermaine fan, and like I told people from the beginning, like that sack celebration is something that came from Florida State. Like every time they have a victory, they go into the locker room, and instead of the game ball, the MVP of the game gets to break the rock. They bring in this piece of concrete with the other team's logo on it and hand the kid a sledgehammer, and they break the rock, which Jermaine did a couple of times. Jermaine had a sack against Clemson where he sacked the guy, knocked the ball out, recovered it himself, and then ran it for a touchdown. It's kind of like what he did in that Cleveland game, except a forced fumble, not a deflected pass. But he was breaking the rock after that game. He did that a couple of times, but dude, I always love to see those kids when they get the hammer and they get to break the rock, because they just had a good game. So, but I think that's awesome. He's using that for his sack celebration too. That's awesome.
Yes.
He brought that to the NFL with him. Love it. Every time he does that, I'm like, hell yeah. So,
and everybody else, dude. Will McDonald, that's like a lot like the Jordan Travis, being groomed. I wish Will McDonald would have had Reddick and Jermaine in front of him. Will it
Yeah,
ultimately hurt him? I don't know. I just hope that he can continue to develop the rest of his
I gotta say,
toolbox.
I'm pleasantly surprised. I wouldn't say that I was, doubting him necessarily, but I was skeptical. You know, a
I
lot of
was
teams
skeptical
didn't
he
even have him
had.
as a
Well,
first
I
round
mean,
pick, and that pick kind of
the,
came from out of nowhere. But dude, Sala and JD, they know the guys they want. They know the kind of guys that fit that system, and so,
and I
so
think we
far,
burnt.
I would say 5.5 sacks in 3 games. I'd say they're getting a pretty good return on that investment so far.
I doubted whether he could win ways that aren't the spin move, but I don't think it matters if nobody can stop the spin move. Does it?
Now, I saw Tyron Smith in practice, like he just kind of dropped back a couple of steps and then just like took him to the ground and planted him when he tried that spin move on him. Uh,
Yeah,
so,
yeah,
I mean, I think with that, it's a matter of timing. Like, if the guys know the spin is coming, then they can kind of be ready for it. But if you don't do it every time and they're not sure whether they're going to get it or not, I think it can still work. And I think that's what he's been doing so far. But like, yeah, I mean, I would like to see, some more traditional pass rush. I mean, he's not going to bull rush anybody. He's not a big, strong guy like that. But dude, I'd love to see him do like that rip and dip move, like Huff did so
yes.
well, and like Reddick does so well.
The
Uh,
elite bend, the bend.
yeah, and I mean he's got the bend to do it. So, but that's just me. I mean, that's getting kind of nitpicky and stuff. But yeah, I mean, I would like to see his pass rush repertoire, grow from
Yes.
being just that one move. It's a nice move, but
Yeah.
I would like to see a couple of other moves in there too.
And that's what I mean by like him being thrust in and no Reddick and no Jermaine. Does he now like does that amplify his ability to develop other moves or does it stifle it? I don't know. Just
You know
playing
what?
full
I I
time.
I think it it wouldn't stifle it. I think it's a good opportunity for him. Like, me as an artist, like when I would look at other people's stuff, if I saw, you know, that they shaded something a certain way to make it look darker or put a different lighting source on something to give it a different effect. Like if I saw anything that I saw that they did that I could take and add to what I was doing to make it better, like, dude, you always want to add to your library. If there's something in somebody else's game that you can take and add to your own,
Yeah.
and a friend of mine calls that like your mental library. The more you can build in your mental library, the more you can accomplish, the more different things.
Facts.
And you just
I
always
like
keep adding
that.
to your library. You always keep building. And you hear NFL players say that all the time. Like if I see something in somebody else's game that I can add to mine, I'm going to take it. And
Yeah.
so,
Yeah.
I mean, and let's face it, Will McDonald's a professional athlete. I don't have to, he doesn't need my advice, but I'm sure that's what he's doing. I know that there were a couple of young guys that were on the Eagles that went out of their way to say how Reddick took them under his wing and, really helped teach them. And I was really kind of looking forward to that here, but the guy never friggin' showed up. So, but dude, I think that's, one thing that I've heard is like Tyron working with Olu. And I've been hearing just more and more of that, of the older guys working with the younger guys, whether it be, Mosley and Quincy with Sherwood or Jermaine with Will or Tyron with Olu. That mentoring thing seems to be across the entire team, which, dude, a lot of times you don't get that. You go into a team and ain't no way that guy's fucking helping you when you might take his job. Like there's a lot of that
Facts.
mentality with a lot of teams. And it's nice that our team doesn't have that anywhere. Like across the board,
Dude,
it seems like the older guys are teaching the younger guys. And I just hope that's true with Rodgers too, with Jordan, because Jordan's not active, we don't ever really see him or hear anything about him. I've tried to get stuff from my, what I guess you could call a somewhat inside source, and there's just nothing to tell. I mean, he's just not active. I mean, he can be in the meetings, he can be around the practices and stuff, but he's just not doing anything. So, I mean, it's probably not going to get as specific as what did Jordan learn this week. So, I mean, it is what it is. I just got to trust he's learning all he can. And I'm sure.
Well, we got guys, dude. Tack McKinley, dude. I don't know if you saw it, but Baldy did a breakdown on Tack McKinley. Like, he's showing out. You got Gruden out there. Gruden's talking up Brandon McGregor. So, like, we got guys.
Yes, we do. And like I said, if there's one thing I never worry about this team, it's them evaluating defensive talent and developing it. Not worried about that at all. And now that the offense has a quarterback, I'm not worried about that either. Dude, just having that quarterback. And I'm talking like even a competent quarterback would have made things better, but having a really good quarterback now compared to having pretty much just the worst there was, period. Dude, I mean,
it offsets
caliber team.
And you don't need Garrett to get 1,800 yards and Brees to get 15 all-purpose. You don't need Jermaine. You don't need Reddick. When Rodgers is making up for Zach Wilson this much, you can afford to lose a little bit here and there. We don't need the D-line to carry us. We don't need it.
When you're like Tennessee Titans team for the last decade, Derrick Henry was going to run you to a win. If you're the Vikings over recent years, Justin Jefferson's going to go off and win you a game. You know what? This Jets team is good at every level, at every single position, period. And so we get to sit back and say that was a good, solid team win. Everybody contributed. Everybody did their thing, and we got the job done, and we won the game. And I think there's going to be a lot of that. But you know what? As much as I want to be able to say, oh, God, yeah, Brees went off this week or Garrett went off this week, you know what? We keep racking up them W's. I'll be more than happy to sit here and say that was a good, solid team win each and every fucking week.
Facts. And that's the thing. The more well-rounded and solid you are, the harder it is to defend. I mean, a question in the chat about, Roger says, we have Tack McKinley. He's not breaking out or changing. Like, he's not going to keep DC or offensive coordinator. He's not going to keep OCs up at night, basically. No. I don't think we even need it, dude. I'll give you a month to game plan. It doesn't matter. Like, we're not going to beat you schematically. We're going to beat you with our personnel against your personnel.
Right. And you know what? If McGregor or Leonard Taylor can get one sack every 5 games, and McGregor can do that, and McKinley can do that, but they're not clustered in the same games to where we're getting a couple of sacks each game, regardless of who's getting it for us. Who cares, man? I'll say it right now. I don't need any one single guy lighting the stat sheet on fire. As long as everybody's getting decent numbers and we keep putting up wins, that's all I care about. Facts. Now, when I thought Hassan Reddick was going to play and Jermaine was going to be healthy, I predicted we would lead the league in sacks. I can't confidently say that anymore. But dude, I thought that we could be the number 1 defense in the league, and I think we still can be. Even without Reddick. I think if Rodgers can keep this offense clicking and we can keep scoring points, that defense is stingy enough that it's going to make it real tough on people to beat us. And
facts. And if you keep
all of our opponents, the defense has been able to really fire off because they're not out there for 40 minutes a game anymore. People aren't killing themselves trying to make plays because they know the offense isn't going to do anything. And now we're getting to see this defense play the way that it really should be able to. Just pin your ears back, go after the quarterback. Our coverage is going to shut guys down. And I still think we can be a top defense even without Reddick.
I was thinking we'd get like damn near 60 sacks. That's a lot. But
Yeah.
where are we at? Okay, guess what? We are third in the league. We have
I'd say we'd have to be up there because the last 2 games we piled some up.
Let's see if I can share this. I don't know if you'll be able to see it, Ricky, but let's see. If I can make it a little larger here.
Yeah, nice.
Oh, too big. Hold on. I'm sorting by sacks right now.
Really?
We are third.
Well, you know what? The Giants have played one more game at this point, technically. So.
Oh, yeah. Good point. Yeah, that's a really good point. They played 4 games.
Yeah, you know what? We would probably be number 2 if we looked at that before last night's game.
Or on Tuesday or Monday, or Tuesday.
Or yeah. Yeah, so technically, if you don't count last night's game, we'll say through the first 2 weeks or 3 weeks, we were second.
Correct.
Because the Giants are into week 4 already, and we're not. But yeah, 14. Through 3 weeks we were second.
And we are on pace. We're on pace for 79. I don't think we'll get there, but hey, if we get
probably not.
60,
but I would take that. One of my favorite things every year is after the season, the Jets will put out that video that says like every sack from 2022 or 2023 or whatever the year is. I love watching those.
This one's gonna be longer, I think. What do you?
Yeah.
Gonna be a 10-minute video at least.
Yeah. Oh, I'll be loving that. Man, I was a big fan of Huff's. So I don't know. There's just, and, the other one was when we were playing the Titans and Quincy came unblocked for that, sack of Tannehill and just destroyed him, man, just leveled him. That
sack along with Chuck Clark's were my 2 favorite. I mean, I love Will McDonald, but Chuck Clark is one of my top 5 players on the team. To see him get that sack, I think propelled his confidence, and then he goes and gets a strip fumble a quarter later.
Yeah, I was worried that he had started to decline kind of in Baltimore.
Yeah, I was too. I was worried.
I think it's his coverage that has declined. Like, I'm not maybe crazy
Give him
about
time.
Coverage, but dude, in run support, he'll friggin' knock your head off, and he's physical and he's smart, and he's got that Baltimore Raven mentality where he's going to take the ball away if he can, and that is something we need on this defense.
Honestly, I think his coverage is coming too. I think it's just a matter of not playing so long. In every single area he was off, he was only a step late, and I think it would just his processing, I think, will get better in this new defense.
Was it Tennessee or San Francisco?
The Ridley?
What game was it where Mosley had the forced fumble, where it was like he just threw a left hook and knocked the ball right out? That was San Francisco, right?
San Francisco did it to Brees. I'm not sure about the other way around though.
Mosley had one where it literally looked like a left uppercut where he literally punched the ball out. And I was like, damn.
Chuck Clark's, like I said, give him time. I think he'll get there.
He would have knocked that guy out.
Dude, our linebackers, though, were the biggest difference from week 1 to week 2 to week 3. And honestly, I think that they are the X factor in week 4. I think if you stop that run game, they're not beating us through the air. But we do need to stop Nicks on the ground.
Denver,
who, believe it or not, is their
dude. Like they beat Tampa, but Cortland Sutton had a really big game for them. And every time we have played them, Sauce has just made Cortland Sutton completely disappear. Like Sauce,
actually,
dude, and I like Cortland Sutton. Don't get me wrong. I think he's a really good player. But against Sauce head to head, like, I mean, we've seen it a couple of times already. Like, Sauce just blanks him. He'll probably have like 2 catches for 14 yards or something.
Right. I don't
Yeah,
see their passing game. But here's the thing: Bo Nix
no,
is actually their leading rusher. Believe it or not.
yeah. Quincy will have something to say about that, or Sherwood. Like, he'll try that shit with us once or twice, and I think he'll
Thank
think
you.
again.
I agree. I agree.
I'll tell you right now, if he tries to run on us like that all day long, we're going to be seeing Jared Stidham before the day's over.
You think we'll get to Zach?
I don't even think his sorry ass is active.
The only reason I think it's a possibility is I think that Sean Payton could have him in his toolbox just in case he needs to spark something. Like, I think that's the best way to use Zach for one. If you're down and out and you need something crazy to spark a game, use Zach. But otherwise,
If
he's
if
cooked.
they even tried that shit, I would send the house on the very first play and fucking remind their ass that he's Zach Wilson.
That's what
Not
I would
good.
do too.
Here's a hint, Sean Payton. Under pressure, not good. But I mean, hey, if
Correct.
he wants to do that, I'll be more than happy to watch Zach run 25 or 30 yards in the wrong direction and help us out. I mean, they that'd be great. They put him in, and Zach could be our leading returner.
Their top rusher is Nix. Yeah, he is. 2 touchdowns and he's got 100 yards, which that's crazy that their top rusher has 100. But
3
our
games
top,
in, that's like
yeah.
33 yards a game. That's awful.
What is ours though? Okay, so Brees has 100. Brees has 100. Yeah, ours are better. I'm not gonna lie. Our stats are better in the rushing game. I don't know if you can see that, but
Yeah, 100 yards after 3 games. That's 33 yards a game. That's not good.
yeah, where's their running backs? Javonte Williams. Uh, yeah, that's all.
Oh, I was looking to see if it had like a long for Brees, like what his longest carry was. It's over 20 yards.
Look at the yards after contact, or yeah, is that yards after
Oh
contact? I
yeah, yards
think
after contact.
it's all of them.
Yeah,
It's all of
it's a
them. Holy shit!
yeah. Wow.
Yeah, that's crazy. If 100, you're
Yeah,
getting
so
hit behind the line every
he has
time.
more yards after contact than
Yeah.
Denver's leading rusher does,
Well,
period.
he also has more yards after contact than he has yards himself. That's a lot of yards after contact, though. That's a lot.
Every single
That's
yard,
impressive.
that's pretty
Yeah,
crazy.
and then some. So most of the time he's getting hit behind the line and he's still churning out 3.7. I can't knock that, man. I can't.
No.
Modine is speaking nonsense. He said Bo Nix is going to run all over us. Any
Oh
thoughts
my
there, Ricky?
God. By the way, I usually don't pay attention to the chat, but hello to Greg, Nick, and Scott
Yes.
Foster. You cannot have any of what I'm smoking. I know you said you wanted some of it, but you cannot have it.
Yeah, the chat's popping tonight, man. This might be the most viewers I've had in like a month. So I'd like to thank you for staying on as long as you have with me, man.
Hey, no
I wasn't
problem.
I wasn't in the mood to monologue for 2 hours, that's for sure. So I appreciate you, man.
Well, yeah, and I mean, I haven't been as active the last couple of weeks, but I'm still kind of trying to, somewhat keep up with the
Process.
shows and keeping up with everything. And like I said, there's just too many people worrying. And like, even like during the Patriots game, I just happened to be like looking at Twitter or something. And during the game, somebody tweeted out like, can't be wasting timeouts like that. Need to clean that up. And I'm thinking, Dude, the Zach Wilson led Jets that needed to conserve timeouts because we have to make some miracle comeback to win needed to conserve timeouts. These Jets that are blowing the team out 21-3 going into the fourth quarter, and that other team looks like they couldn't score to save their lives. We don't need to conserve timeouts. Quit looking for shit to fucking bitch about.
And the ones we do get off in, dude, the plays we get off in the final 5 seconds or right after a timeout are almost always perfectly executed first down conversions, like, or third down conversion. Like, the ones we do need a timeout on, when we use it, it's being worthwhile, is what I'm getting at. Like, we're capitalizing, it's working. It'll get there. I mean, it's not perfect yet, dude. It's 3 weeks in. It's 3 weeks
Yes.
in.
Yeah, exactly. And it's gotten, that's the thing. It's gotten better each week. The first week we played supposedly, the best team in football, although they just lost. Yeah, I think we're their only win, aren't we?
Who?
The
San
Niners.
Francisco? Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, and they were supposed to be one of the best. It's just that's a tough game to judge everything on right there. But even so, even going back and looking at that game, Jordan Mason was running on us, but it was more like 4-yard runs, 8-yard runs, whatever, through the first half. Like, and they had the ball several times, and we held them to field goals every single time. So it's not like they were just running up the score on us to start with. Now,
right.
Once the defense had been on the field for 30, 35 minutes in that game and they started getting tired, then you see Mason, break off some longer runs and stuff once the defense was worn down. Which, dude, I mean, honestly, that reminded me of some of our, past games where, as good as that defense is, if you leave them out there all day, eventually they're going to get tired and they're going to wear down. That's just the facts. You can't have those guys on the field, every offensive possession be a 3 and out, and they're on the field all day.
Facts.
That being said, I don't think that game was as bad as people made it out to be. The Tennessee game, we got better, and then this last game, everything just kind of clicked. So,
what's funny though is
we're seeing progress. It's improving and getting better each week. So I'm perfectly
well. Think about this. In week 1, we gave up 401 yards, and we gave up 41 minutes of time of possession. This last week against New England, we had 400 yards of offense, which 1 yard off, but we canceled it out. And we had 40 minutes. Like, literally, we gave to New England the game that San Francisco gave to us 2 weeks prior. So that'll help our defense. It'll help our offense. But also, like, that's the strides we make. We like San Francisco they bullied us week 1, and then by week 3 we're the bully. That's cool. That's cool, man. 2 weeks. That's all it took.
Yeah, and you know what? As these guys get familiar with each other, Rodgers gets more used to the receivers. The O-line gets more working together. It's just going to get better. And so, you know what? It's only been 3 weeks, but we got a winning record. That's it. We got twice as many wins as we have losses. It's still early, but I'll happily say that at any time. And dude, I can't discount what we're doing right now based on something that happened last year. This isn't last year's team. This year's team, we've got a quarterback. Things are looking good. And you know what? These aren't the same old Jets, so we can't be the same old fans. Like I'm starting it. It's Jets fan evolution. We're going to turn into a positive bunch, and we're going to enjoy what we got going on.
Dude, I made a short the other day. I'm like, we got to figure out how to fan, because the way we used to fan is not the way you fan now. Like, it really is different. Like, we don't have to overly scrutinize things because we have a quarterback that's going to wash away a lot of problems. A lot of problems. And that's what I mean about the Garrett stuff and the Brees stuff. And like, those are gripes we should have had last year or the year before. Those are just learning curves now. Like,
Yeah.
it's not the same.
And
It's
once
not.
the wins start coming in this year, people are going to realize how truly historic that draft was, where we got
Oh,
Brees and Garrett and Sauce. And
and
you know
Jermaine.
what? I said it before. I'll say it again. This GM built a team so good that we went into Lambeau one year and beat Rodgers, and one of the best to ever throw the ball looked at this team and said, "God damn, they're good. I want to play for them."
Yeah, facts. And actually, Sauce had a nice little pick six in that first quarter that they took back off of him. It would have been worse. But, dude, we pounded Rodgers that game. Pounded him.
Yes, we did. Oh God, Quinnen destroyed him that game.
Yes, he did. The
Quinnen went
A
off in
gap.
that game. Yep. Quinnen went off in that game. There was that one play where Rodgers handed the ball to Aaron Jones, and almost as soon as he had the ball, Quincy was there and just ran right through him and destroyed him. And Rodgers had a front row seat for that. So yeah, there was, and then there was that one trap play where Brees took it and juked about 4 people in the backfield and then just took it to the house. And Aaron Rodgers watched that ass kicking and said, "Man, that's the team I want to play for, the New York Jets."
Honestly, that is the reason why he came out of the darkness. I mean, there's no way he would have known our roster. Like, I don't think not 31 other teams knew the extent of how deep and talented and young this team was had you not played them the year prior and saw it for yourself.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He saw it firsthand and he said,
Yeah,
"Damn, I want to play for them."
that's how Zach. Yeah, when Zach Wilson beat you, you wonder why, and then you start realizing the other 52 guys. Um, don't forget Jermaine on that list of
Yeah, you know why?
2020.
Because he saw it. He saw it up close in person, and he went, "Damn, they have a number one defense that'll stop the opponent from scoring a bunch of points, and a first round wide receiver, and an elite running back. They've got everything there that Green Bay never gave me here. I want to be there."
Facts.
Dude, can you believe that
Facts.
Garrett's touchdown was the first time Rodgers ever threw a touchdown to a first round wide receiver? How the fuck is the guy one of the best quarterbacks ever that's been in the league for 20 years and you've never gotten him a first round receiver ever? Why? Why?
Okay, let me ask you this. Did they
And people saying the wrong dude, all his playoff losses, that defense gave up over 30 points. Like, that's not on him.
did they squander the having Aaron that long and only having did they squander it?
Yes, they did. They did. They took it for granted and they squandered it. And dude, I'll tell you what, I GM of a team and we got Aaron Rodgers. You better fucking bet your ass I'm getting him a first round wide receiver. I'm getting him a Justin Jefferson or a Jamar Chase, or I'm getting him a guy like that. You better believe it.
You know, we also got Michael Clemens that draft, but I don't know about him, man. What do you think of Clemens?
He might be hopefully a solid role player contributor, but if he amounts to be solid depth, I'll be happy. All you really ask for.
I have Scott Foster in the back. Are you down to have him chop it up?
Yeah, man. Oh, I was going to say, I'll go ahead and bounce and you can bring him on.
No. Well, if you're down to chat, dude, this conversation's flowing. I don't mind keeping you.
Actually, I got a couple of things to do around here, so I'm going to keep listening. But yeah, okay. I'm probably going to go ahead and bounce for now. But I appreciate you having me on. And like I said, I just wanted to come on and share a little positivity and tell people what
Love
I'm
having you,
thinking,
man.
how I'm feeling right now. So looking forward to a good year. I can't wait to see Conklin go off again this week. And 37-13 Jets. So looking forward to it. But thanks, man.
Love it, dude. Yeah. Have a good night, brother.